Have you ever wondered how someone so charismatic could make you feel so small? Have you ever woken up one day and realized you no longer trust yourself just because you were close to someone who seemed perfect? Someone who smiled at the right moments, knew exactly what to say to make you listen, and appeared to understand every part of your soul? A narcissist doesn't need to shout or hit you to destroy you. He does it with carefully chosen words, strategic silences, and manipulations so subtle that you end up thinking it's your fault. And that's exactly why so many people get trapped, because they don't see the poison being slowly injected into their self-esteem. Mental health and relationships. Today, I'm going to reveal the 10 most cruel ways a narcissist uses to dismantle your mind, heart, and confidence, without you even realizing it. One by one, you'll understand how he enters your life, positions himself as a savior, and gradually starts eroding everything you believe to be true. If you feel like you're losing your ground but don't know why, this video is for you. My name is Lauren Mitchell, and my purpose with this channel is to show you that the problem was never you. You've heard of narcissism, but you might not yet know how to recognize a true narcissist, especially when he disguises himself as someone amazing. A narcissist isn't just someone who likes being the center of attention. Everyone wants that from time to time. The problem begins when this behavior becomes a pattern and is combined with a lack of empathy, a constant need for validation, and control over others. We're talking here about a psychological profile known as pathological narcissism, often associated with narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. People like this have an inflated view of themselves, believing they are superior, special, and deserve special treatment. But behind that mask of confidence lies deep emotional fragility, and that makes them manipulate, use, and discard people in order to keep their self-image intact. The worst part? They know exactly how to win you over. They use charm, seduction, and even generosity as bait. They appear at just the right moment, say all the right things, and seem to understand every part of your story. But this connection isn't real. It's strategic. They aren't interested in loving you. They're interested in dominating you. That's why it's so hard to identify a narcissist at first glance. He doesn't seem dangerous. Quite the opposite. He seems rare, special, almost magical, until the masks start to fall. It's important to understand that we're not dealing with someone who wants to improve or connect genuinely. We're dealing with someone who always needs to be on top. And to do that, he will put down anyone standing beside him. That's the foundation of the mental game he plays. And now, step by step, you'll see how he uses subtle and cruel techniques to break you down from the inside. Let's now explore these techniques, starting with the first one, idealization and love bombing. The narcissist's first move isn't to attack you. It's to elevate you. He shows up like he's the love of your life, the most sincere friend, or the partner of your dreams. Out of nowhere, he's there, present, attentive, admiring. He seems to understand you in a way no one ever has. This is when idealization begins. He puts you on a pedestal, but not out of affection. It's strategy. This process is known as love bombing, that intense and almost unreal feeling of immediate connection. He sends constant messages, makes deep declarations, and shows interest in every detail about you. Everything happens very fast. Everything feels extremely strong. And it's precisely this intensity that creates emotional dependence. You start to feel like you've found someone unique, someone who came to fill a void. And the more he reinforces this, the more attached you become. But something strange lies beneath it all. He knows exactly what to say because he's studying you. Every word is calculated. Every gesture is part of a plan. This phase is so intoxicating that many victims don't even realize they're being pulled into a dangerous cycle. The love feels real. The connection feels genuine. But then, after some time, things begin to change. Second technique, subtle control. At first, he seemed like the most present and attentive partner you've ever had. Now, something has changed, but not in an obvious way. Nothing explicit, everything very discreet. You start to notice that he casually comments on who you've been talking to lately, who's been around you. He even makes light jokes about jealousy, as if it were affection, proof of interest. But slowly those jokes turn into demands. He wants to know where you are, who you're with, why. And when you answer, he reacts as if everything is under control, as if he had the right to ask. That's what we call subtle control. It's not yelling or physical violence. It's psychological manipulation disguised well, slowly eroding your freedom without you even realizing it. He starts influencing your choices, who you hang out with, what you post on social media. Even your free time becomes monitored, just disguised as concern or care. And the worst part? You rarely feel pressured. On the contrary, it seems almost like love, like affection. But behind this facade lies an uncontrollable need. He needs to dominate every aspect of the relationship. He needs to be the absolute center of your life. Third technique, gaslighting. You remember saying something, clearly, but he denies it firmly and confidently. I never said that. You're making it up. That never happened. And after hearing this so many times, you start doubting your own memory. Did that really happen? Did I misunderstand? That's exactly what we call gaslighting. A manipulation technique as cruel as it is effective. The goal is simple: make you doubt your own perception. He twists facts, denies conversations, changes versions, and makes you believe you're going crazy. And the worst part? He does it with so much conviction that he even seems to be telling the truth. Over time, you begin relying on his version to understand reality. If he says everything is fine, then it must be. If he says you overreacted, you start believing it. Your confidence in your own mind wears away, and along with it, your self-esteem. The result is a constant state of insecurity. You live questioning your memories, your feelings, even your most basic decisions. And that's exactly what he wants. The more you doubt yourself, the less strength you have to resist. And the less strength you have, the easier it becomes to control every part of your reality. Fourth technique, criticism disguised as advice. He never tells you directly that you're wrong. On the contrary, he speaks as if he's trying to help you. It's just a suggestion. But I think you should. If I were you, I wouldn't do that. You have potential, but you need to improve here. These phrases sound well-intentioned, but over time, they start to carry a different weight. Each comment seems to hide a veiled criticism, a hint of superiority, a way to put you down without seeming cruel. This is one of the most insidious forms of manipulation, making you believe you're being helped, while your self-esteem slowly wears away. At first, you even thank him. After all, he seems to care about your well-being. But later, you start noticing a pattern. He always has something to say about your clothes, your plans, your choices, and each observation, no matter how small, makes you doubt yourself even more. The worst part? He does it so naturally that when you feel insecurity growing, you might even think it comes from you. That maybe you really do need someone to guide you. That maybe you're not good enough. And that's exactly where he wants you. Dependent, questioning your own abilities, needing his approval for everything. Because the less confidence you have in yourself, the more space he occupies in your mind. Fifth technique, triangulation. Have you noticed how he always seems to have someone special in his life? A friend who understands him better than anyone, a coworker who just helps during crises, or even an ex who, according to him, always comes back to give important advice. And it's not just that. He talks about that person a lot. She seems to understand him more than you do, supports him unconditionally, and never disappoints him. It's almost like she's perfect. That's called triangulation, a cruel technique where he introduces third parties into the relationship to make you feel insecure, jealous, or even afraid of losing him. He doesn't need to say he prefers that other person. Just mentioning her frequently, valuing her opinions, and comparing your behavior to hers, even indirectly, is enough. The result? You start feeling threatened. You question whether you're truly enough, whether you're meeting expectations, whether he really wants to be with you. But his goal isn't to test you, it's to dominate you. Triangulation creates a constant state of competition. You start acting differently, trying to be more praising, more present, more willing to please, because you feel like at any moment, he could choose someone else. And the harder you try to prove yourself, the more he reinforces this mental game. Because while you fight for a place that should already be yours, he remains in full control of the situation. Sixth technique, intermittent validation. Have you ever felt like you're riding an emotional roller coaster? One day he's amazing, present, affectionate, passionate. The next, cold and distant, as if nothing you did even mattered. This back and forth isn't random. It's part of a powerful strategy called intermittent validation, or intermittent reinforcement. A technique so effective it's used even in gambling to keep people hooked, waiting for the next reward. He gives you small doses of attention, love, or recognition, but never consistently. Sometimes he takes days to reply. Other times, he shows up with intense declarations, gifts, or surprise gestures. And this causes something dangerous to happen inside you. You start waiting for the next good moment, living for him, justifying the bad moments by saying, "It's worth it because of the good ones." It's a vicious cycle. The more unpredictable he is, the harder you try to please him, chasing that good feeling again. But there's never a guarantee it will return. This kind of dynamic destroys your self-esteem because it makes you believe you have to fight for love that should be constant, that you need to prove your worth to someone who should naturally value you. And while you're stuck in this pursuit, he maintains complete control over the relationship, because the more you crave that occasional affection, the harder it becomes to walk away and move on. 7th technique, guilt projection. Have you ever found yourself taking blame for something you didn't even know you'd done? It was you who ruined his day. It was you who misread his intentions. It was you who overreacted. But over time, you start noticing a pattern. Every problem in the relationship becomes your fault. He doesn't outright say everything is your fault, but he makes you feel like it, with phrases like, "If you paid me more attention, I wouldn't act like this. I only said that because you provoked me. I'm upset because of you, but it's okay." This is guilt projection, a cruel technique where he shifts the responsibility for his own mistakes, flaws, or negative reactions onto you. And the worst part? He does it so naturally that when you feel the weight of guilt, you might even think you're being selfish for feeling hurt. So you start walking on eggshells, avoiding conflict, trying to be better, more understanding, more tolerant, all to prove you're not responsible for his pain. But the harder you try to fix things, the more he projects. It's a silent, vicious cycle. Every interaction leaves you with the feeling that if you just do enough, everything will get better. But in reality, you're only absorbing someone else's pain as if it were your own. And the more you carry this unfounded guilt, the harder it becomes to realize that you are never the problem. 8th technique, discard and return cycle. Have you ever gone through a breakup that didn't seem real? One day, he was still close. The next, he vanished. No clear explanation, no conversation. It was as if you had been erased from his life without warning. That's the discard. The moment the narcissist abruptly cuts off contact, as if you meant nothing to him anymore. But here's the strange part. After some time, he comes back, out of nowhere, with a simple message, an unexpected appearance, or even a sincere compliment, as if nothing had happened, as if that empty period had never existed. And you, still carrying feelings, resentments, and doubts, feel a rush of nerves in your stomach. He's back. Maybe things will change now. Maybe this time will be different. That's when the return begins. A carefully planned re-entry meant to pull you back into the cycle. He doesn't come back because he wants to fix something. He comes back because he missed you, as a source of attention, validation, and control. And he does it with vague promises, kind gestures, and words that deeply touch you. You hold on to this new chance. You believe things can be different, that maybe this time, he'll change. But after a while, everything repeats itself. More coldness, more distance, more silence, until the next return. And like this, you remain trapped in this constant movement, coming and going, waiting and believing, without ever really moving forward. Because as long as there's even a hint of connection, he will keep you close. 9th technique, public humiliation. Have you ever been humiliated in front of others? With a smile masking the cruelty. It was an innocent joke that didn't feel funny at all, a loud comment about something personal, or perhaps a public criticism disguised as praise, leaving you uncomfortable. That's public humiliation. A twisted form of emotional control where he undermines your confidence in front of witnesses, never taking responsibility for it. He doesn't need to yell or insult directly. He uses irony, sarcasm, and even tone of voice to put you down while others laugh. And when you react, he says you're overreacting, that it was just a joke, that you have no sense of humor. But it's not just bad taste. It's a deliberate choice to make you feel small in public, so that, little by little, you start fearing to speak, to share opinions, to express yourself. And the more it happens, the more you begin to stay silent. You stop defending your ideas. You stop showing who you truly are, because there's always the risk of being ridiculed again. This kind of behavior silently erodes your self-esteem. You start avoiding certain environments, certain people, even certain topics, all to avoid feeling ashamed again. And that's exactly what he wants. The less space you take, the more room he has to dominate. Because when you shrink, he expands. When you stay quiet, he speaks louder. And while you try to fit into a safe role, he maintains full power over the relationship. 10th technique, emotional ghosting. Have you ever ended a relationship and yet felt like he never really left? Even though you're not together anymore, you still randomly see his photos, still get likes or comments on social media, or out of nowhere, a message appears saying something like, "Miss you," "Are you okay? I've never forgotten you." That's the emotional ghost, a type of presence that never really leaves your life, even from a distance. And it's not a coincidence. It's intentional. He's not trying to get back together. He's keeping a thread of connection to make sure you never feel completely free. He wants you to think about him, to miss him, to wonder how things would have been if it had worked out. And while you struggle to move on, he shows up from time to time with small but meaningful gestures, enough to shake your certainty. This game makes you relive good memories, ignore the bad ones, and question whether you made the right decision. And the longer you stay in doubt, the harder it becomes to build something new with someone else. Because even without being physically present, he still occupies space in your mind, space that should now belong to you again. The worst part? He knows it. He knows that as long as there's any trace of connection, you'll keep feeding hope, memories, and pain. And that's exactly the silent control he wants to maintain over you. You saw, one by one, how the narcissist builds an invisible web around your life. He starts with charm, making you feel unique, loved, understood. Then, slowly, he introduces control, manipulation, and devaluation, all disguised as love, affection, or concern. He doesn't scream to hurt you. He uses silence to confuse you. He doesn't openly humiliate you, but plants doubt so you question yourself. He doesn't physically trap you, but emotionally holds you hostage with empty promises and unexpected returns. And the cruelest part of all, he makes you believe all of this is normal, that maybe you're exaggerating, that maybe it was your fault. But now you know the truth. These methods aren't character flaws or rough patches. They're conscious patterns used by someone who needs to maintain power over you and is willing to use any strategy to achieve it. Many people live years without recognizing these signs, years trying to fix something that was never healthy, years searching for love where there was only control, and dignity where there was only manipulation. Recognizing these tactics is the first step toward freedom, because the more you understand how this game works, the less space he'll have in your life. True love isn't built on fear, insecurity, or dependence. It's built on respect, honesty, and equality. If this content resonated with you, know that I've left a link in the description with special materials. They were carefully created to support you through healing, help you reclaim your strength, and guide you to walk forward with lightness and awareness. Now that you see clearly, nothing stops you from moving forward, head held high and heart a little lighter. If this video helped you, the next one will surprise you even more. Tap the screen, I'll see you there. And remember, you are light. Never forget to shine.